In this video, we are going to show you some of the rare photos of Courteney Cox, while also sharing little-known facts about her life story. Courteney Cox was never supposed to have anything to do with showbiz, but when she finally succumbed to the trade, she made some devastating mistakes that prevented her from reaching the heights she could have reached in the industry. What exactly happened? Let's find out while showing you some of her awesome photos. On June 15th, 1964, in Birmingham, Alabama, Courteney Cox was born to Richard Lewis Cox and Courtney Bass. She has two older sisters, Virginia and Dorothy, and an older brother, Richard Jr. Her father was a successful businessman, and as such, their family was quite well-to-do. However, money was no substitute for true love, and her parents divorced in 1974 when Courtney was 10 years old. After splitting from Courtney's dad, her mom did not fall on hard times. She was so beautiful that she quickly found love again in another successful businessman, Hunter Copeland, and got married to him right away, leaving behind everything. There was one thing that her mother's second marriage brought to her. That was a connection to the music industry, as her stepfather Hunter was an uncle of business promoter and business manager Ian Copeland. But despite being around the music industry people during her formative years, Courtney's desire to go into showbiz or even be an actress didn't manifest immediately. Actually, after graduating from Mountain Brook High School, she enrolled at Mount Vernon College in Washington, D.C. to study architecture. It was at this inopportune moment that Courtney's yearning for showbiz reared its head. Rather than complete her architecture course, she dropped out to pursue her dreams of becoming a full-time model and actress. Most of Courtney's friends and family did not understand this move. Why would she abandon a respectable career such as architecture to frolic in the messy world of showbiz? Well, Courtney was determined to prove them wrong, and there was no changing her mind. Unfortunately, at the start, it seemed as though she had made a very big mistake. Although Courteney Cox was very beautiful, Hollywood didn't fling its doors wide open to accept her. Breaking in was quite tough, and to support herself during this period of her life, she accepted a job at the video game publisher Bethesda Softworks. This was in the early 80s when video games were still in their infancy. As such, Courtney's job, though a desk job, was not very dignified. Despite the early obstacles that had placed themselves in her path, Courtney still continued to work hard. In 1984, when she was 20 years old, Lady Luck finally decided to smile on her. That year, Brian De Palma, one of the most important directors of the new Hollywood era, was casting a love interest for the legendary Bruce Springsteen's music video. From a casting call out of hundreds of girls, Brian selected Courtney to be Bruce's love interest in the Dancing in the Dark video. The experience was quite magical for Courtney. It also gave her so much attention. Sure, this was a major breakthrough for her acting career, but the battle was far from won. Getting into Hollywood was the first step. Becoming a star was a whole other ballgame. Courtney's first starring role was in the NBC science fantasy series known as Misfits of Science in 1985. She played the character of Gloria Dano. Unfortunately, the series was not a major success. It was cancelled after only one season of 16 episodes. Courtney had never planned to be cast in Misfits of Science. It took a little bit of serendipity for that to happen. One day, she visited Universal Studios to audition for the action-adventure TV series codename Foxfire. After getting cast for a measly 2 episodes, she observed that the studio was hosting auditions for Misfits of Science right next door. Eager for work, Courtney walked right in and tried to prove herself. To her surprise, she got the role. Sure, Misfits of Science was not the success she was hoping for, but from there, the only way was up. At least, that's what she thought. With the rug yanked right from underneath her feet, Courtney had to settle for minor supporting appearances in other TV shows. During this time, she appeared in the shows Love Boat and Murder, She Wrote. She also had a recurring role in Family Ties, as the girlfriend of Michael J. Fox's character. Not the type of work she had dreamed of, but still better than no work at all. Late in the 80s and early in the 90s, Courtney also tried her luck with movies. She starred in the movies Masters of the Universe, A Cocoon, The Return, and I'll Be Home for Christmas. She also landed the iconic role of Joelle Jagger, the toughest nails assistant of James Belushi's Larry Burrows, in the movie Mr. Destiny. Bit by bit, Courtney's profile was increasing, but she had yet to find her big break. Luckily for her big break was on the horizon, but it would also come with all of its own baggage. In 1994, NBC was casting actors for its new sitcom known as Friends. The show would revolve around spoiled rich girl Rachel Green, who gives up a life of wealth and joins a new circle of working-class friends. Courtney's agent excitedly told her that the studio wanted her to audition for the starring role of Rachel. When she went for the audition, she did her very best and easily won the role. This was quite an exciting development for Courtney's career. She would finally be in a starring role again after several years in Hollywood. There was one little problem, though. Courtney was far from excited to play the rich, spoiled Rachel. To solve this issue, Courtney wanted to approach the producers and ask them if they wouldn't mind giving her the role of the down-to-earth Monica Geller instead. But she was hesitant, as she did not want to upset her castmate Jennifer Aniston, who was set to play the role of Monica. Well, as fate would have it, Jennifer was agonizing over the same decision, as she wanted to play the role of Rachel. It was an all's well that ends well situation for both of them. Looking back now, can you imagine a world in which Courtney played Rachel and Jennifer played Monica? Such a thing is so hard to picture, even though Courtney and Jennifer were so well suited to their roles. It's part of why Friends became such a huge success. Friends is undoubtedly one of the greatest shows of all time. It ran for 10 seasons and 236 episodes. During the height of its popularity, each member of the main cast earned $1 million per episode. This was the highest fee for any actor in TV history. During the show, the character of Monica was set up with Matthew Perry's Chandler Bing. However, off-screen, there was no romance between them. Instead, Courtney had her eyes set elsewhere. Her improved profile as an actress meant she had way better dating options than before. One of Courtney's most famous relationships was with actor Michael Keaton. Keaton is one of the most successful actors in Hollywood history, and once played the role of Batman. They dated for 6 years, but did not progress past that. When they finally split up in 1995, it took Courtney a while before she found her next fulfilling relationship. Courtney's most famous relationship was for sure with her Scream co-star David Arquette. Both of them were so crazy about each other that they started to mix both love and business. They got married in 1999 and gave birth to a daughter, Coco, 2 days before Courtney's 40th birthday. Courtney also happened to go into labor on the 5th anniversary of her wedding. Years later, they also started a movie production company together. The name of the company, Coet, was a portmanteau of their names. Years before David and Courtney got married, David actually appeared in an episode of Friends. In the episode titled The One with the Jam, he played a character called Malcolm, who stalked Phoebe. This was David and Courtney's first screen appearance together. Little did they know what life had in store for them. The story behind how the couple settled on the name Coco for their daughter is quite an interesting one. Given Courtney's southern roots, she wanted to name her daughter Courtney Cox as well. After all, her mother also carried the same name. However, since David Arquette was Jewish, he couldn't agree to Courtney's demands. This was an unexpected twist in Courtney's plans. See, in Jewish culture, it is forbidden to name a child after a living person. As a result, the two of them came to a compromise. When Courtney was young, her friends used to refer to her mother as Mama Coco. That's where the name Coco came from. The miracle of Coco's